Okay, I'm back. Uh, yeah, I gotta say it's strange. I don't know if this is just a Florida thing, but I can't imagine it is. But it's always strange. This has happened like 4 times this year. I have pest control, mind you, and I don't mind it too much because I don't mind this kind of animal. But it's goofy as all get out that I have, on more than one occasion, just been sitting or standing or doing something in my house, and I will just see a tiny spider, like a tiny, tiny spider, just in the middle of the air somewhere. This one was literally, I don't know how, it was like just floating lazily across a section of my house, and I was just standing there. I'm like, what is that? And I look at it, it's just a spider just slowly floating through the air. Like, what is going on? I got it on a napkin and I tried to relocate it.
Skills not ready.
I like to put the tiny ones on windowsills. I tried to get it like right on the window, but it panicked and it ran off the napkin onto the windowsill, so whatever. But I like to put the tiny ones near windowsills to help, you know, in case something does somehow get in, like a gnat or something. That it'll probably make a... Because, you know, spiders are pretty... this may be a thing of contention, but they're kind of smart animals. You know, they know where to make a web to catch stuff. So if you put them in the right spot, they'll typically be pretty good at it. And I mean, the tiny ones, they're perfect for, like, windows, right? You know? The larger ones I typically just put in my garage. Because, I mean, like I said, subtropical region, right? So... Okay. You can see off on the side there that we've got a hero unit to deal with. The thing about the Barren Highlands is that this is where we get less harpy country and more into troll country. Quote, insert quote from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas here, I guess. But yeah, we're getting on into troll country and we're going to be dealing with them for a little bit. I'm trying to think of how long we deal with them. The normal ones we're going to be dealing with them for a little bit, but pretty soon it's kind of like how the Cronley gang is the introduction to humanoid enemies of the kind that have classes and such. This is sort of the introduction to what in... see, I like this term from Warhammer 40k, the ab-human. Like, because they're not really mutants. These are almost like ab-humans, the trolls. At least in terms of how they, not in the direct 40k sense of that they are human. I mean, like, as an archetype, they're kind of like humanoid enemies that are beefier, larger. They're not like orcs. They're larger than your standard orc in a fantasy setting. Because I mean, look, like orcs typically aren't that big except in like 40k, you know. Oh, and I guess I don't know how orcs are in fantasy. I kind of just assume that in Warhammer Fantasy, they're kind of the same deal, right? As in 40k. Now I'm thinking, like, does Warhammer Fantasy have orcs? I mean, I have to assume, but I've never really thought about it if they had orcs or not. All I know about Warhammer Fantasy, by the way, is from, like, Vermintide, so don't get too out of sorts at me for not knowing. Like, I wouldn't know. I mostly know 40k from stuff like Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr and Warhammer 40k the Dawn of War series, and mainly from Mechanicus, because Mechanicus is dope. I might actually let's play that game someday. That game rules. That game's cool. It's hard, but it's a really, really cool game. The main thing that makes that game hard is the timer system, because you basically are on a time limit the whole game, and I think that's doo-doo butter. I don't really like that. I think that was like a part of the game that could have been done without. If I'm gonna be 110 on that, I just don't think the game needed that. I don't think it's that bad if you know how to deal with it, but the fact that you could get like 20 hours into a playthrough and then just be irreparably screwed rubs me the wrong way. I don't like when games do that. I just hate dead man walking syndrome. I don't like that in any game where you could actually be in an unwinnable position and not know it for several hours unless you're excruciatingly detailing each and every single step out to like the 20th inference. Like 20 moves ahead. Like, it's just not great. It engenders a kind of paranoia in me that I don't like. Closely related to, but not exactly the same as, the kind of feeling I get in a game like Divinity 2 Original Sin, or any game like it, where you have an incredibly finite experience pool. I don't like that either. I think there should... And look, I get it. I'm not saying that I'm the grand poobah of gaming and everything must follow my decrees. But, like, I personally cannot stand... And I still have mini games that I've played that I enjoy a lot that have this. But I still cannot stand it even in the games that I enjoy that are like this. Whenever there is a finite pool of experience, and you must do every single little thing, kill every single thing on the map, etc. for every crumb of experience that you can get. It just kind of stinks. It makes the game feel like a video game, rather than like, oh, I'm just a dude. You know, like, it gamifies the whole thing, and it makes me feel like a dude playing a video game rather than a guy playing... Yeah, it just makes me feel like a guy. I'm not saying it ruins my immersion, it takes me out of the register of a guy enjoying a story into a guy, checking off items on a Excel sheet. It just makes me feel like I'm going down a checklist rather than playing a game. Anyway, with my bickering out of the way, Oleron's Rage soon. I am incredibly looking forward to that. But for now, I want to fill out the map, as always. I like filling out the map as much as possible. And by the way, you can see here that this is something I really love that the game does. That's like such a small touch, but it's so cool. That areas of the map that you have already uncovered are gray, and then whenever you go back to them again, they get colored in. I think that's super cool. Like, it's such a small thing, but the reason why I think it's so cool is that it's so intuitive. You know, you don't need to be told what happened. You just look at it and you go, ah, yeah, okay. Like, I think that's super dope. I love stuff like that. I think that's a sign of... let me back up on that. I know it's a sign of really good... like, really good design principles for something like that. It's after my own heart. It's exactly the kind of thing that gets me really happy at something really seemingly insignificant. Yeah, my other ear. Goodness. Alrighty. Ain't gonna be much longer now. I kind of just want to, at a minimum, get to, what's it? Homestead, yeah. I kind of at a minimum just want to get to Homestead. That's still kind of a ways off, but not that far off. Before ending the recording session and going and finishing the 2-star, like the second chapter of Principia Mathematica. I was going to say Graphic Principia Mathematica for whatever reason, but, you know, show myself graphing the end of that. And then after I review that and make sure that everything is... I'm not going to alter significantly my early graphs, because I like keeping a fossil record, so to speak, of how I've developed stuff as I've gone along in the process. But what I am going to do is, if there's any overt, like, errors, I'll definitely edit those. There shouldn't be. But just in case, I'm going to go back and review all of the theorems in the second chapter. And then once I do that, I'm going to upload the whole album of the second chapter theorems to Imgur. And then I'm going to, in a couple of days, because I mean, again, I've just kind of been through a whole lot lately. I'm probably just going to take it easy and maybe do a couple of recording sessions of this whenever I can. And I mean, like, for a couple of days. I don't mean literally 2 days, obviously. But, yeah, over the next few days, I'll probably just have a couple recording sessions of this. And, get back to work on the graphing in earnest. Yeah. I mean, not that you'll really... Not that by the time this comes out, I'll have already already have done all the stuff that I'm going to do in the next few days and whatnot. But still, point being is that I want to pick up the pace, because doing the math, man, if I did 3 theorems a day, it would take me 72 years. So I need to do, like, at a minimum 30 a day to get, like, for the whole thing, not just volume 1, like for volumes 1, 2, and 3, that is. It would take, like, over 72 years if I only did 3 theorems a day. So I need to get a pace of, like, on average 30 to 45 to get the whole thing done within a year. Which sounds like a lot, but I legit was able to do 6 of them at one swoop, swept, in one swept. Because I already have this understanding of morphologies whenever it comes to stuff like that. Like, I'm big on structure and isomorphism. But it became alarmingly clear that because so many of them are going to be in, like... And if you haven't watched my stuff on my Logic Mysticism channel about graphing Principia, this probably isn't going to make a whole lot of sense, any of the stuff I'm saying. But I'm going to say it anyway. You know, if it interests you, if you go, oh, wow, I wonder what the heck he's talking about, you should go check it out. Link in the description to my other channel. But, yeah, I'm big on isomorphism, I'm big on morphology, like shape, behind the structure, you know, behind the thing. And noticing that so many of them have the same morphology, like, it's kind of become clear that there will be entire pages that I do within... there will be, like... to put it bluntly, I did 6 in 15 minutes. Just because the morphology for those 6, it wasn't even identical, it was just similar enough that I could just do 6 of them in a row that quickly. So, and I templated, and I'm building an ever-growing, like, repertoire of templates for those morphologies. So I'll eventually hopefully have, like, a complete morphological collection where I could just go, oh, that's this, and then template it, and then bring in a template, then bring in a template. And eventually I'll hopefully be able to crank them out, like, I don't know, even 90 a day. I mean, if I did 90 a day on average, I would get it done in 100 days, which is phenomenal for something like Principia Mathematica. Now, I'm not going to be able to do that for the simple reason that, like, I'm reading it for the first time, and I'm going through it for the first time. So there's going to be stretches where I, for my own cognizance. Like, stop and go as I'm graphing, like, okay, what am I actually reading here? Right? I'm not just doing some kind of Chinese room thing. I'm accomplishing competency as I'm doing this, which is kind of the point. Like, I'm not just copying symbols to a schema. I'm actually rendering it as best as I can, isomorphic, while keeping the content like cogent and in the same. You get what I mean? Like, it's just like translating from one language to the other. I'm keeping the meaning the same, the structure the same, and just translating it from one thing to another. Literally. So, you know, that's kind of what's at the front of my mind right now, is how that whole project is going to turn out in the next few days, weeks, as I go through it, as I pick up. And there's stuff, like I said, I've got like an actual legal thing that I'm having to deal with that I have full confidence that I'm in the right on and that I'll win, but you know how those things are. So that's going to eat into time too, because I can't, as goofy as it is, like, I can't go into too much about it, but like, it's something that I have to deal with seriously, because the consequences, as with anything in the legal system, is kind of serious, even if it's just ordinance stuff with the local government. But yeah, like, I have to deal with that, so I don't know how much that's going to dig into my time. Probably at least for a week it'll be all I do, is just figure out how that works. Once I get the FOIA information in that I need, assuming that they give that to me, which I would like to think they would. You know, I didn't ask for anything unreasonable. But that's a whole other thing. Point being is that I'm kind of, you know, I'm kind of just hoping that I get to a point where I can comfortably say that I'll be able to do volumes 1, 2, and 3 within a year and a half. Maybe less. It would be a really blessed thing if I could get it done in less time than that, because the sooner I get it done, obviously, as I said, while still comprehending what I'm going through, which is a critical thing that I'm not going to slack on. Like, the whole point of me reading it is to comprehend it. So if I didn't do that, I would have failed. And that's like number 0 thing on the list, is me comprehending it myself. So yeah, I'd like to say that that won't take me that long. It took me 3 weeks to get through the first 100 pages of Volume 1, like the introduction, because that is some serious brain-tickling stuff. And I kind of got it down pat. I want to believe that I got it down pat enough that whenever I finally get to the stuff that's more complicated, it'll still be, maybe not fresh, but it'll still make sense to me. I feel like it will. But yeah, I mean, that's a whole lot of what's going on right now, and what's going to continue to go on in the future. And I mean, I said it on my channel, and I kind of hinted at it on my other channel, and I kind of hinted at it here by saying it, that I was going to put it on Imgur. But yeah, all of that stuff's going to be publicly available, and I'm going to upload it by chapter, all of the images. I'm thinking that I'll keep the meta charts, which are what I call these like large images that I use as a digital workspace of sorts to make the graphs in. That's where I keep my templates and like work with my templates and stuff. And I make a lot of meta charts. And I save multiples of each for redundancy, just in case something happens, because again, it's in service of the whole fossil record of my development of the notation that I'm using for Principia. Which, like I said, that Graphing Principia video series is on my other YouTube channel. Link in description if you want to check that out. It's just me graphing and yammering while I do that. But, and I'll keep doing it. It's like I said, though, on in that series, and I meant it, that I'm not going to record me doing every single one because, first of all, it's a little distracting. Trying to, whenever you're in front of an audience, it's distracting. I used to give Let's Players a lot of crud whenever I was a lot younger. Whenever I'd watch Let's Plays and they would miss something that I thought was obvious, and then once you start trying to do this stuff yourself, like talk while on recording, it becomes very alarmingly clear that it's a distraction. It takes a part of your brain that just eats up system memory. So it slows down the whole process in that way. But the other thing is that I simply don't think that it's necessary. Like, I think that just doing it whenever I feel like doing it is probably healthier, because I don't want to attach to my graphing a notion of performativity. And what I mean by that is, like, I graph this stuff for many reasons, but none of them are entertainment of others or myself. I don't want it to be viewed as entertainment, because that's not what it is. Like, it's not a performative thing that I'm doing for other people. It's not a performative thing at all. It's something that I'm doing for, like I said, numerous reasons that I'll get into probably whenever I record later. Me finishing out the second chapter, but it's definitely, none of them are for people to watch it. Like, that's not it. I mean, for people to use the graphs, sure, but not for people to watch me make graphs. That's not the idea. That's not the goal, if you will, of what I do. And I don't want that, consciously or otherwise, like, slipping into my noggin that, I need to record whenever I'm making graphs, because I really don't. The point of graphing is to make graphs, not to make videos of me talking about making graphs while I make graphs. Good grief. That was a near miss. I'm not really talking about this guy because we fought him before, basically. He's just another version of the big troll guy. I mean, we've basically fought this boss 3 times already, and we're going to fight him more in the normal enemy version, so, it's the same as before, just don't get hit by his worst attacks, and you're good. Bait him into attacking, then move back, that kind of stuff. Alright. Well, that was Smuggler's Pass, and if you couldn't tell by me yammering on through all of it, it's a cool little area, but it's not like a very long area. It's just a very short... That's the weird part about this part of this act, is that it basically consists of... So if you want to break down Act 2 into 3 parts, it would be Cronley's gang, right? It'd be Cronley's gang, Old Arcovia, and then 2 smaller liminal areas, Smuggler's Pass, and then the Deeps. I think they're just called the Mountain Deeps. But they're 2, like, small dungeons, like mini dungeons. I don't know, I mean, if you look at this, it's not too small. But it is kind of small. It's not like a big dungeon. Not like Old Arcovia if you go all the way to the bottom. I was about to say, and I never really thought about how people might speedrun this game. But if you just go through Act 2 straight as an arrow, you fly right through it, you don't do any optional stuff, you could probably get through Act 2 in like an hour. thinking on it, Act 2 is probably, technically speaking, the shortest act in a linear line. Like, in a linear manner of playing the game, it's probably the shortest. Because, I mean, there's just so much less stuff that you actually have to do. I mean, Old Arcovia, you can literally just walk in, go through 5 rooms, and you're out the other side. Like, going from Twin Falls to Broken Hills is not long at all. Like, I'm just kind of going over in my head, and I think that's right. I think that's not an incorrect statement. Act 1 might be shorter, technically, but I don't think so. I think Act 2 technically beats it out for being shorter, distance-wise. Like I said, I could be wrong, but in my head, it seems like they're about even at a minimum. Oh, and whenever I said right. Inventory's full. Well, time to go back and sort that out. I said at one point that Act 2 had a bunch of optional stuff. I got that wrong. It's Act 3. I kind of confused a side area in Act 3 with an area in Act 2. Which, whenever we get there, I'll probably explain it. Physical damage. Okay, well, here's where we just get rid of our +4 to cadence. And I'm going to put that rifle in the bank, just in case our damage goes so low that it becomes a necessity to equip it again. But I want to believe it won't be. How did I pick up a shield? That's odd. Do you just pick up rares regardless of if they're on your loot thing or not? Because that's a bit dim. Okay, I'll put it in with the deconstruction stuff. I'm gonna look through this stuff for chaos resistance. Okay, I'm gonna open up this next one. This is gonna be the specialty stuff. Chaos resistance. Chaos resistance. Plus 100%. What the? What is this? +3 to overload. You know, that looks good, but it's more not weapon, but more equip dependency stuff. I don't like that. I just want chaos resistance. Like, legit, that's like the only stat I care about right now is chaos resistance. Because the last time I played with Hydrate, I'll just go ahead and sell that. But the last time I played with Hydrate, I got him up to the point of the game where you start fighting almost exclusively, or at least predominantly, the Chthonians. And yeah, that can really put into perspective just how much chaos resistance is needed. Not there. There we go. I hate that some of these amulets just look straight up like a component. That's very annoying. Anyway. We can go talk to that guy now. Mornay.
There are few people I hold in high regard, and I count you and Bourbon among them.
Yeah, we're not going to tell him. Because that's the right thing to do. And if you wonder why, well, you know, I encourage you to buy Grim Dawn. I don't mean to be that guy, but you really should buy this game if it looks interesting. Even if you don't get the DLC, the game is still really good. You know, wait for it on sale, whatever you gotta do. But, you know, if the game looks good to you, you should get it. It's worth it. It's a really, really good game.
I can't do that yet.
I'm gonna do different kinds of playthroughs, mind you, on this channel of this game eventually. Probably all of them will start at veteran and then eventually go up to elite and then ultimate. I'm not saying that I will get all of them through elite and ultimate at the same time. Like, I'm not going to go necessarily once I get through all of the other stuff. I'm not saying I'll immediately go into elite with this guy, like with one Bud Man. You know, I'll probably start a different playthrough with a different thing I have in mind. Maybe. Okay? But, yeah. That's that, basically. Once I beat the game and all the DLCs and stuff, I'll see how I feel about playing this game much more than that, because I like to rotate my games that I play. And I play a lot of Elden Ring and other Souls-like, so I'll probably do a Souls-like playthrough at some point. Maybe immediately after this.
Well, if it isn't my old friend from Devil's Crossing. I had a feeling you'd be making your way through here.
Olgrim, what are you doing out here?
I haven't been entirely honest with you. I'm not a chef, not by profession anyway, although maybe that would have been a better path. As it is, I'm an assassin and former First Blade of the Erelon Emperor. It's a title I've not always been proud to bear, as my line of work has not always been virtuous. But I dealt with threats to the Empire. Now all of humanity is threatened by foes more deadly than anything we faced before. It is, however, a time when I can put my talents to a more noble purpose. You haven't been entirely forthright with me either, Taken, but don't worry. I'm the keeper of many secrets.
Okay, the thing is that Olgrim is overpowered.
Taken? Well, formerly so, if we get down to semantics. The ethereal left you just before you hanged to death. Am I not correct? My sources are quite good, if I say so myself. But you trusted me, and now I shall trust you.
The First Blade of the Emperor.
Look, I'm sure you have many questions, but now is not the time. We need to get these people to Homestead.
So, how can I help you?
I came upon these refugees on my way through Smuggler's Pass. They were trapped and would soon have become food or entertainment for the trolls. I had to do something. Now we're stuck out here, caught in the midst of a battle between the trolls and the ethereal forces. The tunnel to Homestead is blocked by aether fire, and the only option now is a passage through the mountain deeps. It is a foul place at the bottom of the world, infested with all manner of terrible things that hate the sun.
Otaku.
There is no way these people would survive down there. In Devil's Crossing, I saw that you had the power to open rifts. I need you to fight your way to Homestead, secure a rift, and come back for us. So please, help these people. Below is an entrance to the deeps. From there, you'll exit onto the dusty road that will lead you into Homestead. Be swift. I'm not sure how much longer I can hold off the trolls before they come in force.
I love that Dusty Road is capitalized. Like it's the Dusty Road. It's not onto the Dusty Road. No, it's onto the Dusty Road. Singular. I will find a way to Homestead. Now we go over here and talk to this guy. He says, I'm sorry for eavesdropping, but I couldn't help it over here that you will be going through the mountain deeps. That's right, why do you ask? You see, my sister Dahlia got fed up with waiting while I lay here with a gaping wound in my side. Despite Ulgrim's insistence that she stay, Dahlia set out into the depths on her own in search of rescue and medical supplies. It's been over a day now, and I'm afraid something must have happened. Would you please look for her? I fear for the worst. I will look for Dahlia. You wouldn't happen to, I was gonna make a Silent Hill reference, but never mind. This is... So yeah, here's the cave entrance to the mountain deeps, which is, like I said, a sort of mini dungeon. What we're looking for is up north of where we're at. Now, the kind of enemies in here we don't see very often. One of them anyway. But we also sort of get introduced to a enemy type that we'll be dealing with a lot. Sorta. Kinda. Maybe. Okay, so I'm gonna level. This place is kind of another check on your character in its own way. Because the enemies here do a different kind of thing, right? You'll see what I mean whenever we... So, spiders, like, we've dealt with spiders. There's a lot of them here, though. These are not the enemies that I was talking about. I don't mind spiders in real life or in Grim Dawn. No, that's not the enemy type that I was talking about. Now, the new enemy type that we don't really see much at all, outside of this particular environment, we don't even see like an archetype of them. And like I said previously in this recording session, like we don't see what I would call a functional reskin. You know, like an enemy that does X. We don't really see that. What I was talking about, by the way, the kind of enemy that we'll be dealing with a lot are these. A certain kind of bug enemy that has a certain kind of behavior. But the enemy that's particular to this, the trogs, short for troglodyte, surely. Now, the thing that makes them dangerous are the guys at the back that shoot spells. Other than that, they're not really that, they're not really that much more dangerous than, say, the goblins. These deep dweller grubs, when they die, they put out a massive, damaging acid field that apparently does next to no damage to us. 70% resistance to poison and acid, so that'd be why we're taking like no damage from that. But yeah, the kind of enemy that we'll be dealing with a lot in the next act are similar to the cave crawlers. The reason why this area is kind of a check on your character, though, is that between the trogs and the deep dweller grubs and the spiders and the cavern crawlers, you kind of get a can you deal with large sudden swarms of enemies check here. Like, can you deal with enemies that are kind of coming in large numbers and aren't just like slow-moving skelebros? Nah, hold on. I have to look at the map. Zoom in. Enhance. Zoom, enhance. Ah, my ear. Ah, good grief. I'm sorry. My ears are kind of going nuts. I don't know why they're itching so bad. In this particular stretch of recording. See, I wish it showed on the minimap more clearly. Like, I have to literally lean into my monitor to see the little, like, rock. You see that? Like, how on the minimap it's so much harder to see? Okay, I want to go around this way. Because I think because I'm pretty sure there's another shrine in here. So these guys right here, the blood mages, are the actual dangerous Trog enemy that you have to worry about. The other Trogs really aren't that bad. It's mainly the cave crawlers, the spiders, and the Trog blood mages that put up a noteworthy amount of resistance and difficulty. As you can see, those blood mages, rather, are throwing spells from off-screen. That's kind of what makes these guys tough to deal with, is that they will follow you pretty swiftly, and they will cause you a lot of damage if you don't have like good resistances against what I assume is bleeding, but might be chaos damage. I'm not sure what kind of damage that is that their sigils do, but they do respectable damage. And they can throw them apparently from, they can throw that stuff apparently from a different Z level. That's interesting. Yeah, there's the shrine. Excellent. This place was a nightmare. Like, I know it looks maybe, and it feels even, a lot less threatening than it was on the journey that I had with Hydrate through this, the tactician. Like, battle mage, two-handed, ranged, not that bad. Dual wielding inquisitor, one button playthrough, awful. Just awful. This place was not great. Anyway, we gotta go through a battle of spiders, apparently. No, cave crawlers and spiders. Now, the cave crawlers, they die. Yes, they die, but whenever they... I misspoke there. Whenever they die, they leave an acid puddle on the ground.
Yeah.
Ah, good grief. Ugh. I am so sorry, folks. I don't know why it's so bad right now. Ugh. Yeah. Well, there's a pale cave crawler. And I guess they both got stuck on each other. Okay, I need to back up. Excellent. Now then. Owl? Obviously, we're going to go with the plus half again damage and duration for stuff, because that is just a direct super upgrade to what we've got going. Wow, how did that guy... Okay. Whatever, pal. Ome wa mo shinderu to you. Yeah, look at that. That is good DOT right there. So if we hit this guy once, I wonder, just to kind of damage check. That's good stuff.
That skill's not ready.
Yeah, we can just ping an enemy once. Yeah, look at that. That is good. Ha! That is awesome. That is really good. I know it may not seem that good, but it is. Like, in the grand scheme of things, that's really, really good. I'm gonna have to cut the video here soon. The reason why that's so good, to kind of like elucidate my thinking process on that, is because it allows for whenever there's pass-through from fighting form, I think it is. Whenever fighting form allows for pass-through on cadence procs, that means there's going to be a lot of oh wow, I hope I don't have to go all the way around the long way to get to that, the quest marker. But that means that there's good retreat, you know, retreat and regroup damage. So whenever I get a long lineup of dudes and score pin round through a lot of them while, say, retreating, that allows for a retreat where you're not really, well, where my guy, but I guess you in the big U sense, you know, including me, where you can, like, with DOTs like that, where you can sort of just retreat without losing too much damage, if that makes sense. Or repositioning.
That skill's not ready.
Like that. Like, just give it to him and then move around. Yeah. Okay. Blue cricks. Okay. Cheat cricks. And then tiny bugs. Not the tiny bugs. No. My ears. Good grief, dude. Ugh. I really wish I knew what does that. Like, why that happens. Anyway. That's me closing the Q-tip thing. Okay, it looks like I won't have to go literally back through the entire cave thus far to get over there. That's good. I would like to think that that's not a thing that can happen, but you never know in games like this, where there's like semi-random blockages like that. Okay, and if I remember right, yeah. Of course there's a super, mega, whatever thing here. I like that you can shoot stuff out of the air. Not that it's like super duper handy, but or that it's really something you could do on purpose most of the time, but it's still cool. Yeah, like that, if you saw that, that's super cool. Ah! Alright, buddy. Time for you to stop moving. Excellent. Ah, the tiny bugs. +2 to cadence, +2 to reckless power. Well, that's not +5% experience gained, so I don't care. Oh, wow. Okay, well anyway, this is Dahlia Tavern's corpse. We'll go back and tell that guy what became of his sister. whenever, you know, it's like relevant. It's not relevant yet because we're not at Homestead yet. And it will take us a little while to get to Homestead, and I think that is where I'll end the recording session because that's a lot of progress. Like, that's the rest of Act 2 done. Me personally, I count getting to Homestead as the start of Act 3. So, I know that for whatever reason, that's not exactly... that's like not considered the exact start of Act 3. I was looking at the mini-map rather than the... Oh, that's another example of, yeah, I couldn't see the rock on the mini-map. Okay, whatever. Well, that's a lot of spiders. Okay. Remain calm, even when covered in spiders. See? No reason to panic. Perfectly fine. Got nothing to worry about. Just filling out the map. I guess I'll go back down there. Stretch the recording just a little bit further. Finish out the map here. Plus, I'll probably get a level up, and I do kind of want to level up. I just didn't want to have to bother diving past the group of trogs on that one. Which is why I just stood there and used my potion economy to get through it. Okay. And this should just round out the map. And hopefully round out the XP bar at least a little bit. I guess I overestimated how much XP these guys are worth. That's kind of... That kind of feels bad. Deep grubs? No grubs? Grub? No grub? Okay, no grubs. Spiders. Alright. I mean, that counts. We basically got the whole map. It's fine. What the... More spiders. Okay. Oh, yeah. There's the grubs. I expected them, and they showed up. Sure enough. My grub sense was tingling. And it was correct. I've watched the movie Tremors enough times. And Tremors 3. Oh yeah! Chest locked with heavy chains. It will take one dynamite to break it open and reveal the wealth inside. It's not worth it. I'll just skip that and tell you it ain't worth it. Ah, good grief. Sorry, if you have motion sickness problems, sorry. Again, the best thing I could do is just reorient the camera for navigating by the minimap. Go around here. Once we exit the cave, that's whenever I'll cut this one. So, in a minute. I want to go ahead and get, I want to go ahead and get the rift here. So, this is Prospector's Trail, as you can see in the top right. And here's a possessed, mutated, whatever, troll. So that's most of the trolls that we'll encounter from now on will be like possessed by ethereals, possessed / warped by ethereals. I just want to clear this little area up ahead before I go take a break. Just a small break. The reasoning why is because this area is not as short as you may think. So I'd like to go ahead and get a head start in this recording. This is, as you can probably tell, where there's enemies that do good damage. Now, one thing to note. Ah, my stomach's giving me guff again. The Stone Clan warrior goblins, for whatever reason, can do stupendous amounts of damage on some hits, and I still don't understand why. Figured that was worth mentioning. Yeah, and I need to go sell stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and do that since it's the end of the recording. Like, might as well, right? I'll keep those pants, I guess. But I'll probably not use them. More chaos resistance, but, you know. Well, hold on. Do those Spalders have? No, they didn't. Yeah, okay. Sell that. This over here, and I think I will go tell that guy about his sister and hopefully get a level up. Put this in the rares category and put everything else. Oh, there's another stupid, again, a ring, amulet, whatever, that just looks the same as a component.
I'll give you a good price and we'll go left. See you around.
Like I said, here's hoping that in Dead Man's Gulch we'll get a level up from telling this dude what happened to his sister. Did you find my sister? Yes, she was in the mountain deeps. I'm sorry. I had a feeling. Thank you for your information. Excuse me. Yeah. He gives us iron and rep. Anyway, if we go over here, so completing the map, right? There's something over here. Manticores. Yeah. This is how we'll get our level up before the end of the video. Now I'll go ahead and get that and yeah, dump 1 point into that. Okay, so I just need to remember that I dumped, I think, 2 points into that. So I need to dump 2 more. Let's clear out these manticores. Yeah. Now, these are enemies that we'll be seeing a lot later into Act 3. And we'll see them in other places too, but this is sort of like a almost secret area where you can sort of get a bit of a preview, I guess, if you want to call it that. Wow, that guy's stuck in a rock. I'm glad I got that on camera. Look at that. Ha! You normally can't get like a really good look at them because they're too busy trying to eat your face. But yeah, look at that guy, stuck in the rock. Ha! Everyone point and laugh at him. It's okay, he was trying to kill us. You can point and laugh at people who are, well, people and animals and just anything in general that's trying to kill you. It's okay. It's self-defense. Anyway. Be back in a bit, and this will probably be the last video for this recording session coming up.